Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. The deep, profound, unsurpassed, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I have come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning. The Lotus Sutra, Chapter 6, Bestowal of Prophecy. At that time, the World-Honored One, having finished reciting these verses, made an announcement to the great assembly, speaking in these words: This disciple of mine, Mahakasyapa, in future existences, will be able to enter the presence of 3,000 million Buddhas, World-Honored Ones, to offer alms, pay reverence, honor, and praise them, widely proclaiming the innumerable great doctrines of the Buddhas. And in his final incarnation, he will be able to become a Buddha named Lightbright, thus come one, worthy of offerings, of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled worthy trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, World-Honored One. His land will be called Light Virtue, and his kalpa will be called Great Adornment. The lifespan of this Buddha will be 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. His realm will be majestically adorned, free of defilement or evil, shards or rubble, thorns or briars, or the unclean refuse of latrines. The land will be level and smooth, without high places or sags, pits or knolls. The ground will be of lapis lazuli, with rows of jeweled trees and ropes of gold to mark the boundaries of the roads. Jeweled flowers will be scattered around, and everywhere will be pure and clean. The bodhisattvas of that realm will number countless thousands of millions, and the multitude of voice-hearers will likewise be innumerable. There will be no workings of the devil, and although the devil and the devil's people will be there, they will all protect the law of the Buddha. At that time, the World-Honored One, wishing to state his meaning once more, spoke in verse form, saying, I announce this to the monks. When I employ the Buddha eye to observe Kasyapa here, I see that in a future existence, after innumerable kalpas have passed, he will be able to attain Buddhahood. In future existences, he will offer alms and enter the presence of 3,000 billion Buddhas, World-Honored Ones. For the sake of the Buddha wisdom, he will carry out Brahma practices meticulously and will offer alms to the unexcelled ones, the most honored of two-legged beings. After he has done so and has practiced all the unsurpassed types of wisdom, in his final incarnation he will be able to become a Buddha. His land will be pure and clean, the ground of lapis lazuli. Many jeweled trees will line the roadsides, with golden ropes to mark the roads, and those who see it will rejoice. It will constantly emit a pleasing fragrance, with heaps of rare flowers scattered around, and many kinds of strange and wonderful things for its adornment. The land will be level and smooth, without hills or depressions. The multitude of bodhisattvas will be beyond calculation, their minds subdued and gentle. Having attained great transcendental powers, they will uphold and embrace the great vehicle scriptures of the Buddhas. The multitude of voice-hearers will be free of outflows in their last incarnation, sons of the Dharma King, and their number too will be beyond calculation. Even when one looks with the heavenly eye, one cannot determine their number. This Buddha will have a lifespan of 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. Light-bright World-Honored One will be of this description. At that time the great Madhgalyayana, Saputi, and Mahakatyayana, all of them trembling with agitation, pressed their palms together with a single mind and gazed up at the World-Honored One, their eyes never leaving him for an instant. Joining their voices in a single sound, they spoke in verse form, saying, Great hero and stalwart World-Honored One, Dharma King of the Shakyas, because you have pity on us, favor us with the Buddha voice. If because you understand our innermost minds, you bestow a prophecy of Buddhahood upon us, It would be like sweet dew bathing us, washing away fever and imparting coolness. Suppose that someone coming from a land of famine should suddenly encounter a great king's feast. His heart still filled with doubt and fear, he would not dare to eat the food at once. But if he were instructed by the king to do so, then he would venture to eat. We now are like such a person, for whenever we recall the errors of the lesser vehicle, we do not know what we should do to gain the Buddha's unsurpassed wisdom. Though we hear the Buddha's voice telling us that we will attain Buddhahood, in our hearts we still harbor anxiety and fear, like that person who did not dare to eat. But now if the Buddha's prophecy is bestowed upon us, then joy and peace of mind will quickly be ours. Great hero and stalwart, world-honored one, your constant desire is to set the world at ease. We beg you to bestow such a prophecy on us, as you would instruct a starving person to eat. At that time the world-honored one, understanding the thoughts and the minds of his major disciples, made this announcement to the monks. Subhuti, here in future existences will enter the presence of 310,000 million Nayutas of Buddhas, offering alms, paying reverence, honoring and praising them. He will constantly carry out Brahma practices and fulfill the Bodhisattva way, and in his final incarnation he will be able to attain Buddhahood. His title will be Rare Form, Thus Come One, worthy of offerings, of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled worthy, trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world-honored one. His kalpa will be named Possessed of Jewels, and his realm will be named Jewel-born. The land will be level and smooth, the ground made of crystal. It will be adorned with jeweled trees and free of hills and pits, rubble and thorns, and the filth from latrines. Jeweled flowers will cover the ground, and everywhere will be pure and clean. The people of his realm will all dwell on jeweled terraces, in rare and wonderful towers and pavilions. His voice-hearer disciples will be countless, boundless, beyond the scope of calculation or simile. The multitude of bodhisattvas will number countless thousands, 10,000s, millions of Nayutas. The lifespan of the Buddha will be 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. The Buddha will constantly dwell in midair, preaching the law for the assembly, and saving numberless multitudes of bodhisattvas and voice-hearers. At that time the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning once more, spoke in verse form, saying, You multitude of monks, I now announce this to you. All of you with a single mind should hear what I say. My major disciple Subhuti is destined to become a Buddha, with the title Rare Form. He will offer alms to countless tens of thousands and millions of Buddhas. By following the practices of the Buddhas, he will gradually fulfill the Great Way, and in his final incarnation will acquire the 32 features. He will be imposing, exceptional, wonderful, like a jeweled mountain. His Buddhaland will be foremost in adornment and purity. No living being who sees it will fail to love and delight in it. There in the midst that Buddha will save unreckonable multitudes. In that Buddha's law will be many bodhisattvas, all of them with keen capacities, turning the wheel of non-regression. That land will constantly be adorned with bodhisattvas. The multitude of voice-hearers will be beyond calculation, all gaining the 3 understandings and exercising the 6 transcendental powers. They will dwell in the 8 emancipations and possess great authority and virtue. The law preached by that Buddha will manifest immeasurable transcendental powers and transformations of a wondrous nature. Heavenly and human beings in numbers like Ganges sands will all press their palms together, listen to and receive the Buddha's words. That Buddha will have a lifespan of 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. At that time the world-honored one spoke once more to the multitude of monks. Now I say this to you. Great Katyayana here in future existences will present various articles as offerings and will serve 8,000 million Buddhas, paying honor and reverence to them. After these Buddhas have passed into extinction, he will raise a memorial tower for each one, measuring 1,000 yohanas in height and exactly 500 yohanas in both width and depth. It will be made of gold, silver, lapis lazuli, seashell agate, pearl, and carnelian. with these 7 precious substances joined together. Numerous flowers, necklaces, paste incense, powdered incense, incense for burning, silken canopies, streamers, and banners will be presented as offerings to the memorial towers. And after this has been done, he will once more make offerings to 20,000s of millions of Buddhas and will repeat the entire process. When he has finished offering alms to all the Buddhas, he will fulfill the way of the Bodhisattva and will become a Buddha with the title Jambunada Gold Light. Thus come one, worthy of offerings of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone understanding the world, unexcelled, worthy, trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world-honored one. His land will be level and smooth, the ground made of crystal adorned with jeweled trees, with ropes of gold to mark the boundaries of the roads. Wonderful flowers will cover the ground, everywhere will be pure and clean, and all who see it will rejoice. The 4 evil paths of existence, hell and the realms of hungry spirits, beasts and asuras, will not exist there. There will be many heavenly and human beings, and multitudes of voice hearers and bodhisattvas and innumerable tens of thousands of millions will adorn the land. That Buddha's lifespan will be 12 small kalpas. The correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning once more, spoke in verse form, saying, "You multitude of monks, listen all of you with a single mind, for in what I speak there is nothing that departs from the truth. Katyayana here will give various kinds of fine and wonderful articles as offerings to the Buddhas. And after the Buddhas have entered extinction, he will raise 7 jeweled towers and present flowers and incense as offerings to the relics. And in his final incarnation he will gain Buddha wisdom and achieve impartial and correct enlightenment. His land will be pure and clean, and he will save innumerable tens thousands of millions of living beings, and will receive offerings from all the 10 directions. This Buddha's brilliance no one will be able to equal. His Buddha title will be Jambu Gold Light. Bodhisattvas and voice hearers cutting off all forms of existence, countless and immeasurable in number, will adorn his land." At that time the world-honored one spoke again to the great assembly. "Now I say this to you. Great Madhgalyayana here will present various kinds of articles as offerings to the 8,000 Buddhas, paying honor and reverence to them. After these Buddhas have passed into extinction, for each of them he will raise a memorial tower, measuring 1,000 yohanas in height, and exactly 500 yohanas in width and depth. It will be made of gold, silver, lapis lazuli, seashell, agate, pearl, and carnelian. With these 7 precious substances joined together, numerous flowers, necklaces, paste incense, powdered incense, incense for burning, silken canopies, streamers, and banners will be presented as offerings. After this has been done, he will also make offerings to 210,000 million Buddhas, repeating the process. Then he will become a Buddha with the title Tamalapatra, sandalwood fragrance. Thus come one, worthy of offerings of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone understanding the world, unexcelled, worthy, trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world-honored one. His kalpa will be named Joy Replete, and his realm Mind Delight. The land will be level and smooth, the ground made of crystal, jeweled trees will adorn it, pearls and flowers will be scattered around, everywhere will be pure and clean, and all who see it will rejoice. There will be many heavenly and human beings, and the bodhisattvas and voice hearers will be immeasurable in number. The Buddha's lifespan will be 24 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 40 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 40 small kalpas. At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning once more, spoke in verse form, saying, "This disciple of mine, the great Madhgalyayana, when he casts off his present body, will be able to see 8,210,000 million Buddhas, world-honored ones, and for the sake of the Buddha way will offer alms, honor, and reverence them. Where these Buddhas are, he will constantly carry out Brahma practices, and for immeasurable kalpas will uphold and embrace the Buddha law. When these Buddhas have passed into extinction, he will raise 7 jeweled towers, with golden implements to mark the spot for all time, and flowers, incense, and music presented as offerings. In the memorial towers of the Buddhas, step by step he will fulfill all the duties of the Bodhisattva way, and in the land called Mind Delight, he will be able to become a Buddha, named Tamalapatra Sandalwood Fragrance. This Buddha's lifespan will be 24 kalpas. Constantly for the sake of heavenly and human beings, he will expound the Buddha way. Voice here is innumerable as Ganges sands, with the 3 understandings and the 6 transcendental powers, will display great authority and virtue. Countless bodhisattvas will be of firm will, diligent in effort, and with regard to the Buddha wisdom, none will ever retrogress. After this Buddha has passed into extinction, his correct law will endure for 40 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law will do likewise. My various disciples fully endowed with dignity and virtue number 500, and every one will receive such a prophecy. In a future existence all will be able to attain Buddhahood. Concerning the causes and conditions of past existences, as they pertain to me and you, I will now preach. You must listen carefully.